Dear friends, we stand at a threshold today, a new year, a new cycle, and a new commitment to choose our victory, to choose to become the Christ and for the ascension in this life. The preacher at Ecclesiastes tells us, "To everything there is a season, and to every purpose under heaven." Not everything is meant to last forever, and not everything is meant to end. And the wisdom of God is knowing the difference. The first Sunday of this new year, I want to speak to you about victory, not as the world defines victory, but as heaven defines victory. Victory over fear, victory over misused energy, whether it be small ways or big ways, great ways, it matters not. Victory over sin consciousness, over the false belief in death, over unreality, and ultimately, victory that leads to the ascension. To guide us, we turn to the words of the ascended Master Lanello, who speaks not only of heaven, but how we live victoriously here and now. Again, Ecclesiastes tells us a time to be born and a time to die, a time to keep silence and a time to speak. Beloved Lanello, in his dictations that are recorded in Pearls of Wisdom, Volume 17, Numbers 31 and 22, he gives us the inner mechanics of this divine rhythm. He teaches that the white fire light of the heart is not meant to be a permanent retreat. He says, the white fire light of the heart is not intended to be the soul's resting place forever and a day. It's a point of bliss to which the soul may return for refreshment and recreation. There is a time to withdraw to God. There is a time to release God into the world. Victory requires both. Lanello calls this the controlled bursting out of energy. He says it's not a volcanic eruption, nor the wild fury of a hurricane, but the release of Helios and Vesta, of energy from the center sun of being. This is disciplined spiritual power. This is what happens when prayer becomes purpose, when meditation becomes mission, and when devotion becomes demonstration. The new year is not asking us to stay hidden in the cave of contemplation. The new year is asking us to release what we have built in our hearts into the world with God control, God harmony, and God reality. Ecclesiastes says a time to build up and a time to break down. Lanello makes it clear. Energy, he says, is the substance of victory. He says, you learn by this experience that energy is yours to command in the name of the Christ. Each time you withdraw into the inner self, there is a heavenly alchemy, a divine exchange that occurs. Victory is not avoiding the world. Victory is about rightly qualifying God's energy in the world. And then Lanello introduces one of the most important concepts for the ascension, the wedding garment. Jesus spoke of this in his parable about the wedding garment, where it's the story of the king who invited guests to the wedding feast, and one of the guests came in without a wedding garment. This teaches us about the deathless solar body. That is what the inner garment, the wedding garment is, as the masters have told us. It's a body of light that each soul is meant to build, to weave over time. And this garment represents your true spiritual identity, which you consciously choose to place above the temporary outer self. So how would we say this deathless body, what is it? And how might it be woven? Well, Serapis Bey describes this, and I'm going to paraphrase what he said. This body of light begins in the heart of your I am presence, your divine source. When you pray, meditate, and sincerely call on God's light, spiritual energy flows from that presence into your heart. There it is focused in the threefold flame, which of course is the spark of divine love, wisdom, and power within you. As you use this light in loving and constructive ways, it becomes purified. In other words, we qualify that light from God every minute, every moment of the day. That purified light then is lifted back up through the stream of light that connects to your I am presence, which the Bible calls the silver cord, and up through the crown of your head to your holy Christ self. And from there returned to the heart of your I am presence. Gradually, God weaves this return light into the wedding garment, the deathless solar body, which is required for your soul to wear if she is to enter into the alchemical marriage, which is the soul's permanent bonding to the Holy Christ self, and the ritual of the Ascension, which is that Christed one reuniting permanently, fused to the I am presence. So only light that's been used with love and harmony and integrity and qualified with God consciousness and God qualities can be part of this garment. The more we express God qualities in daily life, the more spiritual substance is available to build our immortal body of light. Now, this garment is perfectly aligned with your divine blueprint because it's made of God's own light. At the same time, it anchors in your human experience by forming around the highest qualities that we express, such as kindness, courage, self-mastery, and many other qualities. In this way, the deathless solar body becomes a living bridge between heaven and earth, preparing the soul for the spiritual victory and ascension. Lanello says, this is the putting on of the garment of the Lord. It's woven through discipline, through right use of energy, through conscious choices made day by day. Remember, Saint Germain said he won his victory by making 1 million right choices. This is why Jesus warned, many are called, but few are chosen. Chosen doesn't mean favored. Chosen means prepared. So the new year always prompts introspection. So it's time to ask, what habits must die? What disciplines must be born? What energy leaks must be sealed? Because victory is not accidental. It's achieved through love and law. Ecclesiastes says, a time to die. Lanello asks us to confront what death truly is. He says there comes a time in the life of every initiate when he must face the temptation to believe that death is real. The world teaches us that death is the end of life. Lanello teaches us this is a false doctrine. He reminds us what the scripture says of Jesus when Jesus made his transition. It says he gave up the ghost. So Lanello says we define transition as that moment when the soul takes its leave of the physical envelope. Transition is not the enemy. Death, as the cessation of being, is the enemy. And Lanello makes a radical statement. He says that which is real cannot die. Only that which is unreal can die. So what must die? What must die is sin consciousness, separation from God, the belief in limitation, the carnal mind. That is the death that Paul spoke of when he says, I die daily. Victory is not dying to life. Victory is dying to unreality. Lanello defines the last enemy very quickly. This is an important teaching. He says the death that must be overcome is the temptation to surrender the material form and consciousness before the soul has fulfilled its destiny. The temptation to surrender the material form and consciousness before the soul has fulfilled its destiny. This is crucial for our time. Many people are weary. Many people want to escape, try to escape with all kinds of methods, whether drugs, alcohol, depression, promiscuity, even suicide. Many confuse spirituality with withdrawal from responsibility. Lanello says, do not welcome this death, which is transition, but tarry ye until the Christ appears in the full effulgence within your mind, your heart, and your soul. This is choosing life over resignation, mastery over fatigue, and ascension over abandonment. The prayer is not, take me out of this world. The prayer is, thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. This is our calling. And I've come to believe that each one of us faces this test of take me out of this world, especially when facing any major life crises, or as you get older, when your body no longer has the energy it used to have in your younger years, while your mind is not as sharp as it used to be, when you realize that you're now in the older, wiser generation, even though you may not have identified with being old. You know, we see young people taking mantles of leadership in society, and sometimes I look and I think, they're just kids. There comes a time when we definitely realize that the torch is being passed to a new generation. And this can be a challenge for some people. So I believe the test, take me out of this world, does come to each one of us. And it may because of an acceptance of a belief that you can't actually what's happening in your life. And I can give a personal example. When I was in my early 20s, I was married, had 2 children under the ages of 2, and my husband at the time had to go and be deployed into the Vietnam War. That was a major crisis for me at the time. I didn't believe in the war. He really didn't either, but he was already a officer in the military, so he had no choice. And at that point, there I was with 2 children, 2 babies, basically, alone. And the thought was presented to me, well, you could always kill yourself. And that's something I had never in my life ever thought of. Obviously, it was a projection, a test. But just out of pure logic, I thought about it and I thought, that's not going to solve anything. What would that solve? So, of course, I just carried on. And the test doesn't necessarily come as an escape, but rather it can be just a feeling that there's no longer purpose left in life, an acceptance of the belief that you are old. It's time to withdraw from life, withdraw from the battle, as some people describe it. I've seen this in folks that have aged and no longer feel they have anything left to contribute, because particularly when they can't do the things they used to do, even people on the spiritual path. In addition to all of this, we also know that loneliness and meaninglessness has many elderly people is a challenge for them. So as we get older, or as we face difficulties, no matter what age, we need to resist succumbing to this temptation that Lanello is talking about. Again, he says that death that must be overcome is a temptation to surrender the material form and consciousness before the soul has fulfilled its destiny. Do not welcome this death, which is transition, but tarry ye until the Christ appears in the effulgence within your mind, your heart, and your soul. So, what is this really saying? Basically, no matter what life brings you, no matter what the end of life brings, and we certainly do not know, we do not know how long we'll be here or what our last days will be like at any age. So, no matter what the end of life brings, no matter what tests we face throughout our lives, it all has meaning. There is a purpose. We do not know what might be needed to balance that last remnant of karma that'll qualify us as a candidate for the ascension. So we must carry on trusting in God's plan and the greater plan for our soul. And we have among us an example of a Chela who keeps on serving as long as he has life and the ability to do so. And that is our dear spiritual director, Reverend Carl Showalter, who this very day celebrates his 93rd birthday. And not only that, but 77 years in the ministry, because he began when he was 16 years old. So congratulations, Carl. Yay! We appreciate your service to our fellowship. We appreciate your many years of undying service. Getting too emotional. So we move on, folks. And I also do remember, in speaking of these subjects, when we were serving on staff, when one of the elder staff members who was going through her transition was unconscious for a number of days, for a period of time. And the staff member that was helping her said to the messenger, "Oh, I just hate to see Ruth in this position." And Mother looked at her and said, "Leave her alone. She is doing exactly what she needs to be doing." So we don't know. But if we embrace the victory consciousness, we can sustain our focus on the ascension, because no matter what we are called to experience during our lives, and particularly at the end of the journey on earth, at whatever age that could be, because whatever has brought us into these circumstances that we're facing, we know it's only temporary. This whole life is only temporary for a greater victory. Ecclesiastes teaches us timing, and Lanello teaches us purpose. This year is the year of conscious victory, if we choose to make it so. It's a time to put on the garment of the Lord. It's a time to discipline our energy. It's a time to die to sin and live to God. A time to claim victory beyond victory. Because Lanello assures us, he says, there is no death for the sons and daughters of God, but only eternal victories beyond victories. So let us enter and move through this new year clothed in light. Let us always choose life. Let us walk the path that not merely to survival, but to ascension. And I want to conclude today by putting on the garment of the Lord. So gently close your eyes. Turn your awareness inward toward the sacred altar of your heart. Take a slow, deep breath in and release it softly. Again, breathe in the light of God. And breathe out all tension, all worry, all striving. And imagine you are standing at the doorway of your own heart, a holy place, a sanctuary, white fire light. Step gently inside Feel the presence of God enfolding you. Feel the stillness. Feel the love. Feel how you are enfolded in God's nurturing, safe presence. This is the place of divine recharge, the place where your soul remembers who you are. You can go there at any moment. Rest there for a moment. Now, at the center of your heart, visualize a radiant white fire flame, pure, luminous, alive. This flame is your connection to God. It is the seed of your victory and this path of your ascension. Allow this flame to expand gently, not with force, with grace. Now, from your heart, offer to God all that you have carried in this past year. All fatigue, fear, anxiety, over concern about human, earthly things, all misuses of energy, all beliefs that limit life. See these energies dissolve harmlessly in the sacred fire of your heart. And now, in return, see a pearl of light descend from your I Am presence above you. A pearl of light that is a gift of divine momentum, a gift of God's own life and consciousness. Feel this pearl of light settle gently into your heart chakra, anchoring there as a sun center of victory. This is the garment of the Lord being woven within you. See this light now expanding outward from your heart in concentric rings, filling your mind with clarity, your emotions with peace, your memory body with healing, and your physical body with strength and renewal. You are clothed in light. You are sealed in purpose. You choose life. Now affirm silently within yourself, I choose life. I choose mastery. I choose to die to unreality and live unto God. I accept the victory of Christ within me. Feel these words anchor into every atom of your being. Rest for a moment in this light. Know what has been anchored today will continue to grow throughout the year. Rain upon you, like a pearl of great price forming in your heart. When you're ready, gently return your awareness to the room, bringing this light with you. And take one final deep breath and open your eyes. Go forth, clothed in the garment of the Lord. Go forth, choosing life. Go forth in victory beyond victory. Amen.